What is up, guys? Your boy Mike back here again for Mike's Money Move, guys. If you guys haven't been to this channel before, we basically like to talk about making money and about saving money as well. So if you guys haven't seen this is a new setup for me. I'm trying this out to see if this is a little bit better for me, but we're going to be talking about NFTs today, guys, and I'm going to show you guys how I made $70,000 from one NFT. This drawing right here, $70,000 for an NFT, and I'm going to show you now. Alright, so guys, you guys have obviously seen the intro, guys. I'm going to show you basically how I made $70,000 from one JPEG. What? Yes, one JPEG. If you guys don't know much about the NFT space, it is a huge space in the metaverse at the current moment. So, if you guys are new on it, basically an NFT stands for a non-fungible token. If you guys don't know what that means, basically that is something that you cannot acquire that is worth some sort of money or some sort of utility and some sort of value. So it's not something that you can physically hold. It is like having a blue tick on Instagram, making sure you're verified, having a certain item that is worth something to somebody else, just like anything in this current world. So this particular NFT made me $70,000. You might be sitting here thinking, what the f? How the f did you make $70,000 from this? This makes no sense at all. So I'm gonna show you guys a little deep dive, a little bit about what's going on and how it sort of works and how I even got to this valuation and what is currently going on. Okay, so to give you guys an idea, we need to go back in time.
Now we need to go back in time.
If you guys have a look at one of my currently other videos, this one right here, it's basically when I bought my very first NFT. I picked up this first NFT roughly about 6 to 8 months ago, and this current NFT was basically purchased through Gary V. If you guys know about Gary V, or Gary Vaynerchuk, known as his full name, he's basically an entrepreneur that goes out and basically is just a straight hustler. He owns a social media agency. He does so many different things, venture capitalist. He is a man that knows social media very well, and he gets paid very well for this particular thing. So he is a man who's known of watching and seeing so many different things happen throughout time, and like seeing so many different creatives, trends, and knowing and seeing them beforehand and acting on them. A lot of other creators and a lot of other people who are in this space who do find these things, they see a lot of these trends, but they don't act on it, where Gary V will jump on it automatically. He understands the history, he understands the trends, so he always is one of the first people out there to basically jump on one of these things.
For $1 billion. A couple months earlier, I did some Fox program, and I said that I was like, it was December, and they're like, hey, make some predictions for 2013. I am predicting that Facebook acquires Instagram. 15 million users for Instagram, probably going to push 30 next year. And I just have this funny feeling that Zuck is going to look at that talent, look at that app, bring it in-house, use it. That's my big one. Facebook buys Instagram. I was like, Facebook's going to buy Instagram, right? Cool, whatever. 4 months later, it happens. And CNN asked me to come on because the video went a little viral in the tech community. So I was on Piers Morgan. And on Piers Morgan's show, his opening line is, this company's 550 days old. How the hell is it worth $1 billion? And my opening line is, they stole it. I get out of the studio, I'm hardcore Twitter, so I go on it, and literally there are thousands of tweets of people calling me a fucking idiot. So literally that night, from like 10 o'clock at night to 4 in the morning, I favorited every single one of those tweets by hand, all of that. I think it's a good story because this is what an entrepreneur I think does. I favorited them all, and then I guess last year this time, right? Facebook bought WhatsApp for $18 billion, and every article like the next day after the news came out is like, oh wait a minute, they fucking stole Instagram, and no joke. For a week, my wife and I went to Turks and Caicos for a weekend, right? Luckily, she just likes to read and I can't bother her. And I laid on a beach for 19 hours a day, 2 days in a row, and replied to every single person that called me an idiot and said, what now, bitch?
Project. If you guys know anything about NFTs, you might have heard about the term CryptoPunks, which is a project that has huge value that was created in 2017. Basically, fast forward to today, they are worth a hefty amount of money. When I say a hefty amount of money, I'm talking about 6 figures. You've got big names as well who are also looking to go into the NFT space. They are currently in there. They've paid heaps of money. You've got people like Jay-Z who has purchased a CryptoPunk for hundreds of thousands of dollars. You've got people like Steph Curry who's purchased a Bored Ape as well for about 150,000 himself. And you've got people like Snoop Dogg who are getting into the metaverse and finding out all these different things. Basically, long story short, guys, if you guys don't know about the term, it's called new money. Basically, with the new money term, it basically is another way of saying this is a new way of making money. Not your traditional way, this is a new way of making money. Things like crypto, things like metaverse, things like NFTs, things like the VR space. These are all things that are basically catered to new money. So basically, when it comes to this NFT, let's go back to Gary Vee's NFT and how this all started. I basically purchased this NFT in around April and May of 2021. He was creating an NFT project called VeeFriends. If you guys haven't seen it before, these are basically hand-drawn pictures that he pretty much made himself. So he drew these pictures, he basically turned them into an NFT, and basically the difference, if you guys don't understand it, is you might be thinking, you know, it's just a JPEG. Like, I could screenshot this and I could own it. So pretty much how it works, guys, if you don't understand how it works, the NFTs itself, you know, you might be thinking, you might take a photo of this, you might screenshot it, boom, it's yours, right? No. That isn't how it actually works. So what actually happens is there is something called a blockchain. So basically a blockchain it's basically a library or basically a marketplace history where you can actually see if somebody actually owns this physically or not. So it actually traces back to the blockchain and it basically shows people how much someone bought something for and how much they sold it for and who they sold it to. So it is basically a library where you can actually see people's transactions without being hidden. So just like in real life, you could sell something to someone, but you don't know the physical origins because there's no chain link to it. You don't know the history, you don't know where it's coming from, and this is basically how it works. So Gary Vee made these basically VeeFriends. He's put them out there as well. They have been so many different ones. They've been different prices as well, guys. So to give you guys a little bit of context, I'll put up the amount that I purchased it for here. At the time, he was doing something called a Dutch auction. Basically how a Dutch auction basically works is that instead of making an auction go forward, it's an auction that actually decreases. So it actually starts at a certain price up here, and throughout the time, it basically goes down in price and it goes to a lowest point. So basically, knowing me, the cheapskate that I am, and we're all about saving money, ended up going to as low as 0.5 ETH. So at the time, 0.5 ETH was worth roughly about $3,000 to $3,500 for 1 ETH. Keep that in mind, that is Australian dollars, not US dollars. So when I purchased this NFT, I didn't think too much about it, but understanding Gary Vee and knowing that there's two things about Gary Vee that you need to know and why I pretty much invested into this. So you might be thinking, why the hell would you invest $3,500 or something you do not know at all? Two reasons. Number one, it is Gary Vee. Gary Vee is a man who knows about social media, knows about trends, knows about history, and he understands how consumers work. So if you follow Gary Vee by any means at all, you understand that he is about the community and understanding how social media works. He is a man who, knew about, Joe Rogan, for example, $100 million podcast.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think we're living through a time where audio consumption is exploding. I think it's because people want to do multiple things at once. We are multitasking at a level that we've never seen before. People are now listening to a podcast, watching TV, working on their phone. I think the capacity of the human being to do a lot is far greater than most people realize. And for that reason, I believe that podcasts are a very big space that has still been untapped, even though we've seen enormous success. I believe Joe Rogan is going to eventually sign a $100 million plus deal to go exclusive on a platform because there's that much attention. And so, yeah, I think everyone should look at audio.
Hello, everybody. I have an announcement. The podcast is moving to Spotify. I signed a multi-year licensing agreement with Spotify that will start on September 1st. Starting on September 1st, the entire JRE library will be available on Spotify as well as all the other platforms.
He knew about Twitter, he knew about Facebook going up, he knew about Instagram as well before they popped off. He knew about TikTok, people jumping on it to make hundreds of millions of dollars on there as well. So he basically told people about it, and he was a skeptic. People thought he was crazy, but guess what? Facts don't lie. So that pretty much showed everyone that he was a man of intention, word, and knew what he was talking about. Number 2, the second reason why I invested in this as well is another big reason is that Gary Vee is about the people. He's not your typical CEO, he's not your typical person who goes around and showing off his wealth. He is a normal person, doesn't like to flaunt his wealth, and he's about making people better. So that people basically see him as, you know, a guy, a heroic figure if you like, but basically he's not your typical douchebag type of business person. He wants people to become better, he wants to make everyone better, he's got a kind heart which makes it really, really easy for people to like him as well. That was the second reason why I got into this. So, long story short, fast forward to the moment of having an offer. So basically how it works, guys, once you purchase something, they're worth something else later on. 2 reasons, utility and obviously who is basically doing this, or the docs team if you like, if you understand that terminology. Basically, with this actual NFT itself, if you watch my other video, it's basically a ticket admission to one of his conferences that comes up 3 times throughout 3 years. So basically you get to meet entrepreneurs, you get to meet famous people to come out. It's basically a conference made just for people who own this NFT, and you can't really go without this NFT itself. So long story short, because of the utility, because of the man he is, because of the face he gives, he's not someone that's going to rug, he's not someone who's going to disappear, take all your money and nothing's going to happen. It has physical utility, which means it's going to be lasting very, very long. So I got an offer of $70,000, okay? Keep that in mind. That is in Australian dollars. If you're in the US market, I don't know what that is. That's what, you know, $60,000, whatever it is. But basically, I got offered $70,000 within, what, maybe 3 or 4 months within owning this, doing absolutely nothing. I basically could have made a $3,000 to $70,000, that's $67,000 profit. That's a yearly income that I could live off quite comfortably through this offer. But guess what? I actually declined this.
What? You're crazy!
I declined it, I had a look at it, I did not take it because I could understand that this was worth something more. There was a lot more to this, and there was so many other things that I could use it for. So if you're someone who's out there who wants to own one of these VeeFriends, or who does own one of these VeeFriends, you did not know that obviously these prices were gonna skyrocket. Basically, people were taking this for obviously the conference, because what you can actually get out of it, like I said, it's the utility that you get out of this. What happens if you're a business person, you go to this conference, you network, you meet someone through the other side of the world in the States who actually can help your business, vice versa, worldwide, and that is priceless compared to what you can pretty much do. So a lot of people basically ended up going out and buying this. This is basically what I'm going to be doing. Hopefully I'm wanting to attend one of these conferences, and hopefully in my life something dramatic doesn't happen where I have to sell it, but if I do, I may do so and buy back in. But guys, there is so much money in this as well, guys. So some of these NFTs are going for $150,000, $200,000. There is mental amount of money. So just to give you guys a bit of context, like I mentioned, guys, that is basically how I could have made $70,000, but I decided to decline because it's going to be worth so much more. So that was a quick little video, guys, about me and my experience buying an NFT and how much potential it has. I'll be making a couple more obviously videos in the future about NFTs, what they're sort of worth, what they're about, how you can pretty much get into it if you don't know much about the space. But I'm telling you now, cryptocurrency, DeFi is something to be watching in the near future, and you're not late. It's still very, very early. You can still definitely get in and learn so much more. I'm learning along the way, and I'm hoping to educate you guys as much as I learn as well, and hopefully you guys educate me. So both ways is going to win. But guys, that is going to be it for this video. I hope you guys like this video. It's a little bit about NFTs and pretty much the opportunities that could be there. So keep an eye on this space. I hope you guys like this video. If you guys haven't seen any of my videos before, we like to talk about making money, about saving money. That could have been an easy way. I made $67,000 within a few months.